Good morning. Hi, friend.
Hey!
We just hit you with a quad. Right? Wow. Well, we have an amazing episode ahead, as usual, with a very special guest, which I'm so happy to introduce in just a moment. But first, let's have our sacred soiree with the lovely Amarite.
Hold on.
And I needed my sister. I needed you coming for me, please.
She's coming for me. Okay.
Yes. And I did my last saging yesterday, so I need it.
She said my last saging.
I gotta call in the juice.
Yep, absolutely. Always. I seem to. All the papelitos hiding everything. Ya tú sabes. All right. So, what we got today? What do we have today? So, today is a prayer for gratitude. Okay. Gratitude prayer to God and the angels. I bless the day that I first felt your touch. I bless the day you caught me in my fall. My heart beat with your wings, and oh, so much. My life has changed for the richer since answering your call. I thank the beloved Mother, Father, God that sent you to my side. I thank you for your care, your love, and gentleness in leading me. The hand that holds mine now has been my gentle guide that led me to a life of wondrous miracles I see. My heart does overflow with gratitude and love. The light I see around me is shimmering and pure. The land I know before has changed as if overnight and blesses me with beauty, bounty, and visions of delight. I pray both friend and foe find peace and joy tonight. I pray that those who hunger satisfy their need. May hand that holds mine find yours as well tonight, and blessings fill your day. And Mother God, love you feel fully. And then there's another one.
Yes.
A new day dawns, fresh, clear, crisp. I set aside my unease and align with the sanctity of my soul. The promise of a miraculous experience is ignited with each breath I take. I see my life in terms of opportunities. All judgments of good and bad evaporate. As I open to all that I am, I trust in the moment of time. I am exactly where I need to be. My obsession with what people are doing or not doing renders me powerless. This I know. And in that knowing, I reach for a new thought. I choose to stay in my own business of loving, caring, and honoring myself. This choice renders me powerful. This I know. It is in this knowing that I remember who I am and why I came here. I allow Mother, Father, God, the angels, spiritual beings, and my whole entire celestial court, and all the spiritual beings of light to wash away that which no longer serves me. New beginnings flood into my life. I release the past and begin again.
Ooh, wow. Ooh. Yeah. Thank you for dropping us in. Like, I feel like
My
he is.
pleasure always.
Wow. Okay. So we have our amazing guest who is going to help us get the conversation started today, because there's so much to talk about and there's always so many things that we can bring to this space. So everyone who's watching, everyone who's here, type in the comments what you're up to, what you're dealing with, and we'll make sure to highlight you, shout you out, answer your questions, and be with you as well. You're part of this conversation. Just remember that. So our amazing guest today, Tia Alcala, aka Monique, was also a participant in our Beso 5-day challenge, which we just completed the other day. So we've, gotten to know her in an intimate way, and it is so auspicious to have you here this morning. Please, please, please introduce yourself to everyone. Let us know what you're up to and who you are.
Thank you for having me. I'm a mother of 3 children, 3 boys. I'm also currently trained as a birth doula. And right now I'm just soaking in all the knowledge I can to aid to my doula business.
Yeah. Yeah. What does that journey look like? How long have you been in training? How long have you been a mom?
I've been a mom for 13 years. My oldest is 13 and my youngest is 4. I just recently trained a year ago to become a doula. I haven't really worked doing that because COVID hit. So I've just been in the back wings, just like taking different courses to learn towards my doula business. I've been taking a pregnancy and infant loss class to help assist birth mothers. I also took a yoni steam class so I could do yoni for myself and also for my clients once I start back into the business.
Just a question. Everything that you do, that you're trained in, do you do it for yourself and for your clients? Is that like a standard that you have?
Right now, I'm doing it for myself. I want to do it on myself first before I provide it for other people. So that way I know the products that they work, what's in it, and to offer it for my clients as well.
Girl, you being too humble over here. We're doing this podcast like it's some interview type of thing. You better start talking, because me and you talk, I'm gonna cut you out like I did in the challenge and every other time.
Yes,
She's very humble. She's like, oh, I became a doula, but actually, behind the scenes, and I'm gonna shout you out. She was like, okay, so I haven't served any clients, face to face. I'm getting ready to do this virtual thing, and I'm like, yes, girl, you are. Yes, girl, you are. And she was like, okay, the necessary steps that I need to do to get myself organized. Now I know what I got to do and how I'm going to put it together. And then she came out, because I didn't know that she did the yoni steams. We had a conversation and she was like, yeah, I do it for me. And then during the challenge, we connected and I'm like, that's the way to go. And she just lit up like, she's getting website together. I'm shouting out. You see how you ain't talking? I'm jump in. Jump in. This is the beauty.
Yeah, I'm working on putting together a website, and I haven't opened it up yet, but I will be having a Facebook group for my doula business. I have a Facebook page and an Instagram. So little by little, I'm getting there.
That's right. That's right. It's those small imperfect steps that get you where you need to go. And the practice through the falling on your face, scraping your knee, bumping your head, that's Absolutely. What makes you better and better. But I have this other question for you. And this is where the conversation is going to begin with us 3. You said to me, and you have mentioned you had 3 different kinds of births.
Yes.
With that experience, can you elaborate on that and how you're going to use that powerful experience and add it to your business to help others?
Absolutely. With my first birth, I had my first son when I was 26, and I didn't know anything about children or having babies or anything to that effect. My mother passed when I was young, so I didn't really have her. And even though the father at the time his mother was present. She didn't really know too much neither. So, I was going to my prenatal appointments and doing what you're supposed to do when you're pregnant or whatever. And then it's like they told me his due date was November 14th. So, it's close to November and I'm not thinking anything of it. I'm just like laying in the bed. No one's never told me what labor pains or anything like that's like I watched having a baby and things like that, but it's not always the same. So I'm like, it's November 4th and I'm laying in the bed and I'm like, oh, I feel these pains. Like, what's going on? So at the time, his father was at work and I called him and I'm like, I think you need to come home. I think I'm in labor. I think the baby's coming. And he's like, okay. So around 3:30, maybe 4:00, we go to Southside. Well, it was Southside then. And I guess they won't keep you unless you're a certain centimeters dilated. So they wanted to check me because they were like, well, if you're not a certain amount, we're not going to keep you. So I was like, okay, that's fine, but this baby's coming. And they're like, okay, ma'am, we're going to check you. And I'm like, all right. I'm not sure how many people checked me because when I got there, I was already 7 centimeters dilated and they were in shock. And they were like, oh my gosh, she's 7 centimeters dilated. All I could keep thinking in my head was if one more person checks me to make sure I'm 7 centimeters dilated, they better pull this baby out. So they admitted me. They put me in the room. They burst my bag to break my water and everything. And all of a sudden the contractions hit. And I know that I didn't want an epidural because I knew that if you move the wrong way, you could paralyze yourself. So I was like, no, I'm not about to do that. So I opted for Demerol because it goes in an IV and I have like no tolerance for pain. So the contractions are coming and he's coming out and I feel his head down there. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, if I hold my breath, it's not going to hurt. Duh, stupid. So his mother, my son's father and the grandmother were in the room with me. And he kept saying, Mom, oh my God, she's turning red. And she kept saying, breathe, Monique, breathe. And I'm like, it hurts. I can feel his head down there. Oh my God. Like that was the first time I experienced pooping while you were having a baby. And it was just crazy. It was so cute though, because like the doctor kept taking the blanket off for me to check before the baby started coming. And the father kept covering me back up. And I was like, the baby has to come out. Like you're going to have to leave that alone. So, he came out 3 hours later. He came out like 7:30. That was like the quickest birth I've ever had. So it was actually good. I had him by me the whole time after I had him. He stayed in the room with me. The only time I didn't have him was when he was circumcised. And then they put him in the nursery and he wasn't there. I freaked out and I went to go get my baby.
Oh, wait a second, because that's a story and a half. Did you just say to me that you freaked out because he wasn't there and they had taken him to go get him circumcised without you knowing?
No, I knew they went to take him circumcised, but I told them to bring him back. But what happened was I fell asleep. So instead of them leaving him there with me, they took him to the nursery. And I was mad because I woke up and he wasn't there. I had also expressed that I didn't want him to have a binky because I wasn't gonna, give him a pacifier. So when I got him, he had a pacifier.
That's an amazing first experience because it just shows, how different it can be for everyone.
Exactly.
Now, I know Mary.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I hear women saying that they've been in labor for like 4 hours, 12, 24. Like I couldn't imagine that. Like I'm like, oh my God, you poor baby. Because all my births, even though they were different, they were extremely fast.
Oh, nice. The fastest one I had was 15 minutes. So, and I was walking in. So I definitely feel you on that. But how would you, you had that first experience, and although you tell the story, I have to put a disclaimer out there. I'm sorry if any of these stories, when you listen to our podcast, might bring vicarious trauma. We do not mean to do that to you, but you're here in birth community, and you know what happens when we spill tea. So just prepare yourselves because that's
hot.
Hot and steamy.
Yes, ma'am. So listening to this story, I'm sorry, Juju.
No, go ahead, Ma. Take it away.
So seriously, so many things going down, so many interventions in a lot of different ways, right? You know, and then when we talk about birth, you know, right? 24 hours, 50 hours in labor. What is that? I've never had that experience as a birth doula. Okay, 12 hours from when they call me until I'm getting in my car. That's the longest that I've ever had to tend birth, in the physical sense. And I always tell my clients, listen, birth is a 72-hour event from end to end, from when the pump starts priming, okay, and starts to happen until we present a full baby. Okay, we have mothers that will be in prodromal labor for 2 weeks, you know, and here we are thinking, oh, this is so bad. But you know what? Those women are champs when it comes, because they've been going through the motions for so long. You know, so really being in this place of all the things, you know, you're talking about the poop, you know, moms are like, oh my God, you know, am I going to poop on myself? And I'm like, listen, don't worry about that. Manning the sheet, you know, taking care of whatever, you know, there's so much that we do.
And doctors need to get pooped on.
Every once in a while.
Yeah, you know, it happens.
That intervention that they do on you.
You know, poop happens, and that's part of the process. And there's so much that's part of the process. But when we get away from really focusing on the mother and her needs, and then again, 3 different babies, 3 different birth experiences, and that really gives you like some amazing information as a birth worker, just period. You know, and you're like, I'm a new doula, but you birthed 3 babies, and you have 3 perspectives of birth in which to operate from. And when you go into, you know, a subsequent birth, you know what I mean? You have information that you don't even really realize that you have. But then when we start questioning, oh, no, this is not like, no, this is not like that birth, or this is not, no, this is like this is less, this is more. So I want to encourage birth workers. All right, some maybe don't have children, but if you've had children, you're qualified. You know, you are qualified. You have experience. You were in the trenches, maybe not with another person, but you trenched it out on your own. And so, you know, these beginnings as a birth worker and really stepping into the places that you would like to be in, you know, it's been beautiful to have you in our 5-day challenge, be very vulnerable with us, and then share your story, because you have so much to offer other women stepping into this same place. And something that you might say, you know, we say a lot, you know, but something you might say, someone is looking for you. And the more that you speak, the more that you share your story, the more that you share your experiences, and moms will go, oh, I don't know. You know what happened over there.
Like, remember.
You know what happened, but we don't want to step on toes. We're afraid we're not going to get good care. They're going to call CPS. Let me wild out and watch what happens. Now I'm a combatant patient.
Yes.
And especially if you're of color, okay, you're really combating at that point.
Don't bring up the angry Black woman now.
You know, so there's that. And then seriously, there's
the spicy Latina
disconnect that happens when we're just demanding optimal care. We're not being combatant. We're saying we don't like this treatment. We would like something else. And then now we got Popo on the phone, you know, or Popo in the hallway. And this is a thing. This is a thing for Black women and women of color. They say yes to a lot because they're going to call CPS. They're going to take my baby. I got other babies. So this is so not cut and dry birth. What are our rights? What are we allowed to do? What are we allowed to decline, not decline? You know, do we have to do, you know? And so it's a lot in birth work, you know, and really being in a place of supporting our clients, but also the people that we mentor, because you're going to have a lot of scenarios, you know, but remembering one of the biggest parts of birth work is sometimes you have to sit on your hands. There's nothing, what do I do? My client's labor has stalled. Nothing. Let her get her head right. And that's how she's going to get back in action. Find out what's blocking it. Is there energy in the room that has to go? What are the things that we need?
And Meriday, remember how when you told her, like, sit on your hands? Monique, the advice that we're giving you is not, sometimes we literally have to sit on our hands. The lady that taught me, that taught Meriday, that taught us, it's not so much like sit and do nothing, because you're a scribe. You're there to be present. You're there to be the eyes and to help this woman to her stories, because I don't know. I mean, we're mothers and we birth things. How many times do you journal down and say, I'm going to remember all the thoughts, because you had 3 different births. Yes. I'm going to remember all the details. In your mind, you think that you are.
Have you written out birth stories yet?
Come on, speak, girl.
Yes.
Tell us, how will you use this? Like, within yourself. I know that you have 2 other stories to tell, but an hour is not enough. You know this. I just want you to go into your mind and these births that you have. How would you help someone else? Like, how prepare yourself for this, or even if you don't say the words to them energetically, like, you are equipped with a lot of experience beats written and read knowledge anytime.
Absolutely. First of all, I would suggest childbirth education to get the knowledge to know what's going to happen during your childbirth and your labor. Everything doesn't go as planned. Like, have a birth plan just in case, so you can have an idea of how you want your birth to be. Like I said, everything doesn't go as planned, but if you have it in your mind and you have the knowledge of what is and is not right, then you can advocate for yourself more and be more aware. Like with my second pregnancy, I ended up having an emergency C-section because I got induced. And I really feel like had I not had that Pitocin, I wouldn't have had that. Like, honestly, I think they wanted to give me a C-section anyways, because they told me if the baby was like 8 or 9 pounds, they would have to give me a C-section. And in my mind, not only did I not want to have surgery, but I was a C-section baby and I had asthma and I had it really bad. And I was told that whatever is in our vaginal canals, when we pass that baby out, it helps their immune system. So in my mind, I was scared. I didn't want my son to have asthma. I didn't want him to grow up how I grew up, always in the hospital and things like that. So I feel like if I was more aware of the Pitocin, and if I had not someone there, but if I knew more how to keep myself and my body calm, I would have been able to handle my contractions better. I would have been able to advocate for myself more. So there's some things I regret with that, but he came out healthy and, he's fine. He's 10 now. So he's running around the house like a normal child. So, I'm grateful. I also didn't want to have a C-section because they used to say, once you have a C-section, you always have to have a C-section, but that's not true because my third son was a VBAC. I pushed him out vaginally. And even though the doctors tried to insist that I couldn't, I told him, no, I'm going to push this baby out. The exception to that is when you have a cesarean, depending on where they cut you to get the baby out, that will determine whether you can have a successful VBAC or not. So I made sure I called the hospital to find out where they cut me because I was determined to push my last one out. And, I had a VBAC. So I went from having a vaginal, an emergency C-section, to having a VBAC. So I've had all 3 of those experiences.
Wow. I mean, wow. Well, on my note, all I had was vaginal deliveries, but you know what I mean? But it's like the experience you have. I'm amazed on how spirit and the universe puts us in different places and spaces. You went in talking about, I don't even know what contractions are, to I'm having the second birth, to the third birth, like, hey, wait a minute. I'm having this VBAC. You're not going to tell me. I mean, it's so powerful. And to incorporate that in your business, you're going to be able to help a lot of birthing persons out there. You really are. And, you know, do not feel for a moment that, oh, I'm just here, I'm just a doula because COVID stopped me, you know, or stopped that. Did it really?
Not really.
Because it sounds like to me, right, it sounds like to me that you're putting everything that you are into that. You know, I'm putting in my studies, and now look at you. I mean, you're virtual. This is what it is. There's other people out there looking at your story, looking at us. They already know who we are.
Yes.
Now we're bringing you up to the forefront. Like, hey, now don't put me in a headlock now. So it's Doula Goddess.
Yes, the Doula Goddess. That's my business name. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram under the Doula Goddess, and soon I will be having a Facebook group called the Doula Goddess as well.
Okay, I'm there.
Yeah, we're going to show you supports, because what I really here I go shouting you out again. What I really admire and love about you is that you saw this circumstance and situation and you didn't let it hold you back. You know, you got savvy about which courses you were going to take, and you did it strategically. You were like, you know what? I'm going to do PAIL, you know, perinatal and infant loss. That's so important, especially with what we're going through right now.
Absolutely.
What is the mortality? Go ahead, Mariday. You know about these numbers and things.
Well, you know, Corona in and of it by itself really brought some things up. I feel like Corona is bringing immunity, enhanced immunity. I feel like Corona was bringing the grief out of the planet. It was focalized in the lungs, and that's where grief lives. As women, if you've experienced loss, you're supposed to get over it. And Corona has brought up a lot of issues around loss, period. Okay, losing jobs, losing family, losing babies. If you're a birthing mother, you know, you're not birthing the way that you normally would.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a lot of loss. These little ones that are coming in, they're not getting the socialization. So loss right now is very large. Okay, we're losing connections to our families, to the way that we've done a lot of things. So, you know, when we think of grief and loss in pregnancy and childbirth, because again, you can lose a baby early, you can lose a baby late. You know, it doesn't really matter when the loss was. It matters that it occurred, and it matters where you supported, where you cared for, you know, where you nourished. You know, you lose a baby early, okay, maybe your recovery physically is easier, but you lose a baby late, guess what? You're still going to have a postpartum with very empty arms. Okay. And, you know, the in between, you know, nobody shares about their pregnancies in the beginning because, you know, we lose babies in the first 3 months, you know, and, you know, Juju and I go back and forth because it's like, I'm like, celebrate. Because then it's like, okay, now I have to tell people I was pregnant and that I lost my baby at the same time. You know what I mean? And so for, you know, everybody's got to do what feels right for them in that moment. But when we create something, whether it's a business, a baby, a body, a life, it's so much about let's celebrate this. And we're taught to keep everything real close to our chests. And death in and of itself is a celebration. It's a celebration of one's life.
True. Very true.
You know, and so these courses that we have, whether it's trauma-informed perinatal professionals or, you know, PAIL A or Angelique Harside's class, you know, there are a few out there that are just absolutely amazing, but really getting into this place of talking about death, because that's the only guarantee that we have right now is death.
So Monique, where are you going to start with all of this? There's a lot of, I mean, seriously, because you're saying doula, but really you're full spectrum. You're full spectrum. What you mean? What do you mean that accomplished? Boom, smashed. You know, I'm just helping you, you know, because once again, it's like you said, you've been in this 1 year. So, hey, you're a doula on the grow.
Yeah.
And it's like that mindset. You know, you said trying to. I wish that I had that Yoda voice. There is no try. There's no, you know, because you're doing it, Mom. You're
Yes,
doing
absolutely.
it. So now when you look at that stuff with your business eyes, you're like, I am full spectrum, because you cannot get through Neck of Hall's Pale class and think anything else.
Right.
That class is intensive. He covered all corners.
Yes.
So
I'm signed up, by the way.
Oh, you did? Yay!
Good, yeah.
Yeah, by the time you're done with that, and I don't mean by the time you're done complete whole. I'm saying by the time you have that awareness and you're looking through your full spectrum, you'll be able to help, just like Meride said, you know, from beginning to end at whatever stage in that area it might be. There's so many ideas, and there's so much.
There is.
You know, and then you have your 3 experiences, and then you're going to keep growing from there. Then you're going to connect through the mentoring program. You know, you're going to be exposed to a lot of things.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yes, I'm so excited for everything to come.
It will come. You know, where are you going to start? Like now you're like, okay, so I got my classes. I'm getting my business all nice and shiny and pretty. What do you think, you know, your next steps will be? Because you're doing all of this for you.
Yes.
You're doing it all to you. So like your dream, okay, so now let's say the website is up and going. You already got some practice going live. COVID, we don't know what's going on with COVID. Who cares? COVID schmovid, you know. What would your first like ideal, like where would you start first? Would you do are you gonna go into like the hospitals? How would you go about with your clients? Because nowadays that's the better question. Nowadays we're like, where do we get our clients? Where do we get our clients?
Right now I'm going to stay virtual. Because with the hospitals, it's like they've been, now that the executive orders in place, like they're letting doulas in, but at the beginning they weren't letting doulas in. Then they were only letting the birth partner in, and some hospitals aren't taking the doulas unless they have the certification. So there's still other steps to do. So right now I'm going to focus on doing virtual until I finish my certification, and then I'll start going into the hospitals, because that's what I had mainly wanted to do. When I was in Suffolk, I was doing my I forgot what it's called. I was working at the Southside Hospital doing my training through Suffolk for a while, because I do want to get into the maternity and labor delivery section, so that way I can be more hands-on with the mothers. So, you know,
No,
actually, when I was in there, I was with my baby. After I had my baby, I was thinking about that, like, oh, I want to go around and help the mothers and things like that. Because I breastfed all my kids till they were 3, so I have that too. So, you know, I just
she knows about that stuff too, you know, about the breastfeeding. But I wanted to touch something, because, you know, in the beginning when we were talking, Meride was like, you know, you are a doula. And we always talk about do lots. Meride dropped another one. We speak lots, you know. So we do lots, we speak lots. And then just now you said something about working on my certification. This will be an opportune time, just to me, I'm just saying Spirit is talking to me, just to separate the two. If you are a companion to anyone, if you care for anyone, even your pet, you're a doula, because you do lots. The only difference is certified or not certified. To me, anybody else that want to battle it out, leave it in the comments. I'm ready for you. But it's
that's true though.
Or not certified. And when COVID hit, it had us, and I said us because I'm speaking for my tribe. I feel like I can comfortably speak for my tribe. It had us open up our eyes like, yo, so they're coming for us. We have to make sure that we all certified.
Yes.
So it makes no sense to waste your time taking a course out there if you're not going to be certified. certified, because look at what happened. They put that first obstacle. The only ones that could jump over that hurdle are the ones that are certified. So then what happens to those that are not certified? What happens to you? What has happened to you? You said put you on pause.
Yeah, I didn't physically work in my doula business because of that, because there's certain steps I have to take to be certified. Now that you have to have a certification to be in certain hospitals. So I've been reading my books, doing my work and things of that nature. But if you have a client that's comfortable being virtual, then, there you go. But some people want that hands-on, that energy. They want to feel it close to them, have that loving care feeling. So it kind of puts you on the back burner. But like I said, I've been taking this time to soak up all the information I can in different aspects of the doula business, or things that I want to put towards my business to offer to my clients. So it's like a win-win. At first, I was depressed about it and I was bummed out, but it still worked out in my favor.
Nice. I'm just listening to you talk, and I just had another thought come. You know how Mary knows, and Kai knows too. I get these thought bubbles, boop, and I call that spirit, because it doesn't come from me. I'm not here thinking like, what else do I tell Tia Kala? I don't think that. It's just like, tell her this. And I was just thinking, this will be a perfect opportunity too for you to go out and get clients anyway. Right now you're practice your virtualness.
Mm-hmm.
There goes another word for the day, virtualness. Practice that. And if you do get a client, this will be the perfect opportunity you go to buddy up with another doula that's certified. And then you can work on that aspect of the business. Work up this will get you into practice to doing that contract. Build up a contract. What if I'm planning on getting pregnant? No, but and I come to you and you're not certified. I don't believe that the first thing you should say is like, I'm not certified. Like when me and Mary, I'd be like, listen, I buddy up. It's a tag team. We have a tribe of birth workers. We'll be more than happy to help you. And then get all her info, have that connection, because nobody works with anybody that they do not trust.
That's absolutely.
Have that connection. And once you have that connection, it's like, oh, this is wonderful. This is great. I would like to know more. I would be on the horn like, sisters, where's my certified sisters at? Where are my certified sisters at? Because now I have a client and we can split this. Just some ideas. We need to evolve.
Yes.
We need to get over these hurdles. Mary, what's your thoughts? What are your feels?
What are my feels?
Yeah. If she came to you, you are beyond doula-ish, beyond that. If Monique came to you and was like, listen, I'm not certified. I'm a doula. I'm not certified, but I have a client and I would like to either pass the baton, or how does that, what are your feels on that? Like, how would you look at her? Like, oh, no.
So again, certification is imaginary.
Oh, okay.
So there's that. Anybody can create a program and be like, I'm gonna certify you. That's facts.
Yeah.
There's no governing body that is watching over doulaship and saying this is what we do. Okay. So Susan Weed explains it the best around certification. So she's talking from the lean of herbalists. And again, it makes it inaccessible, is what happens often. And then she implores us to look at what has happened to midwifery once we cross over from certification to licensure. And so here in New York State owns the title midwife. Okay. And so when you're licensed through the state, you have a set of protocols that you have to follow. Okay. Where certification, you can choose to do what you want. Okay. And so you've got, agencies like Doula, who they're by the book, and they have a recertification process that costs a chunk of change every year or 2 years. Okay. And then you have these real rogue outlets that they're teaching pelvometry and, vaginal checks, and that's super out of scope. So, seriously, we're going to call a spade a spade. Anybody can create a certifying program. Now, what you do with your education and your knowledge, if you don't care to work in hospitals, that's on you. And no one says that you have to go to a hospital with your client. You can meet your client at their house, do everything there, walk them to the door if they're not going to let you in. And then there's that. Cuomo has put down a directive that says you can have your partner and another support person. But guess what? You roll up in any of them hospitals in the city, some you have to pay. Some you have, there's some $355 whatever. You have to come with your certification. And then guess what? They're going to take your certification. New York Metro Doula Group, they have a running list of the hospitals in the city and how they're handling everything. Okay. So right now, a lot of us are going to be virtual to a degree. And I'm talking specifically about birth. But up until birth, who says you can't go to their house? Who says you can't see them? Who says? Okay. And then when she starts to labor, who says you can't go to her house and labor with her at home until that train is coming so hard and fast that nothing is going to stop it. Not walking through those hospital doors, nothing. That baby, she's waddling in there and the baby's head out. Okay. And, I'm not anti-certification, but again, when there are hurdles for us to work, what are the facts? The facts are you don't have to be certified if you do not choose to. It matters what you choose to do now if you're not going to certify, because now then that means, are you working in hospitals? Or are you going to lean more towards home birth? Or maybe you're a childbirth consultant and you're consulting with people and talking about how they can prepare themselves. And this is actually a class that you can put together. And you never have to see them if you don't want to. Here, you know what? I got a class for you. Okay. So it really depends on where your heart sits. So our mentor Wapio says, find out what you're going to get paid for, how you're going to make your money, and you give everything else away for free. So she makes money teaching. Okay, but she gives away ninja homeopathy sessions. That's what she calls them. They're like 5-10 minute ninja homeopathy sessions. She gives away mediation. Okay, she gives away all these other parts of her skill set, but she gets paid for teaching. So how are you going to make your money? And that's
Monique. Yeah, Monique. Now is never enough. And you're not going to sit on this podcast just nodding and saying, yeah, Monique. Yeah, Tiaga. Like I want to do that. So Mama, give us some of your words. We got 10 more minutes? 9 more minutes. Mm-hmm. Drop some of your own wisdom to us, Monique. Let us know.
I'm like I said, I'm gonna focus on doing my virtual. I do like the home birthing, so that'll be another way too. Like I'm all over the place. Like
but I see the joy and the happiness in your face.
Yeah, I just want to do it all. I just want to save the mothers and the babies. Like I went from being a CNA, helping the older generation, and now I'm here to save the babies and the ladies.
You see how humble she is? I just found out this very second she has CNA. You have medical. You better stop hiding. You better stop putting all those things in your tool bag. I thinking she a baby doula.
I said that yesterday. Right? Was it yesterday? Or was it? I don't remember. Oh no, it was the challenge. Sunday. I was talking about what you were before. Plays into this. So you come in with medical knowledge. Now, does that mean that you're working as a medical professional? No.
You
know what? Homegirl looks a little peaked. You know what? She don't look right. She's looking a little pasty. You know what? Let me just tap in real quick. You know,
got some blueprints in her tool bag. She's talking about, if I like home birth, but maybe the hospital. You know that, Arena.
Seriously. And we know people who are offering birth assistant training. Okay, so Nubia Earth Martin, she did a birth assistant training. Takrima, I don't know how to say her. Tiklilu,
She's going to
TCITLE, but she's offering a birth assistant training. There are several out there that if that's the thing that you want to do, you can get the skills. You know, I just went, you know, we ran over, you know how to use an old school blood pressure cuff, you know.
Yep, I have all that too, because I was gonna go to Suffolk to be a registered nurse to become a pediatric. I've done it all. I have the scope, the blood pressure.
We're going to redirect you. So
this is like a whole new ball game here. I'm over here.
So there's no need to talk about hospitals now.
Mom to be a doula. No. It's like mom CNA doula.
There's no need to talk about hospitals. Your expertise is in home birth with the background that you already have.
I'm sorry.
Okay? Seriously, everything that I learned, I learned because I was taking care of my grandparents. Okay. And so I learned about taking weights, blood pressures, blah, 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 insulin, blah, blah, checking the glucose, checking your insulin or checking your glucose. You know what I mean? I learned about all of that, taking care of my elders. And then I went to birth assistant training and I was like, oh, we learned what it looks like for a hemorrhage. We learned what to look for. But again, sometimes we overthink what we already know.
Yeah, we just have to be careful too, because doula don't do anything medical. Doula don't do anything medical. Doula don't do anything medical. One more time for the people in the back. Doula is not do anything medical.
No birth assistant.
However, you could know medical.
That's right.
Yes.
That's what you have.
Close it up.
Birth assistant.
I see Juju's brain going.
Birth assistant is what, that would be the lane for you. Again, it's not about telling you what you should do, but you're providing us with information, and there's a title. There's a title for that.
You just inspired me because I started thinking about, oh yeah, I'm a certified personal trainer. Oh yeah, I'm pre-postnatal, movement certified. And I totally forgot about that. I didn't even think that it applied. And you have just inspired me in this moment. So I want to thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah.
We always bring you the best speakers.
Juju's show voice. I love it. Yeah, we have 4 minutes, and what a full hour it's been. Really continuing to get to know you and to, really be in this part of the phase of douladom. I don't know.
Doulaism.
Oh, you heard it first here.
Wait, let me check to see if that domain is taken. Hold up. No, this way. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Such a joy this is. And here we go, folks. We're changing the world, reaching the globe, one birth worker at a time, one woman at a time. We are here to do spirit work first, woman's work second, and just collaborate and evolve. So hit us up if you want to be that next speaker. We already booked to mid-April. So as time goes, people are knowing more and more about us and wanting to be involved. You know who we are. You know where to find us. Leave all your hashtags and your comments down below, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.